Rusty Bucket Bay. Rusty Bloody Bay. When was the last time somebody actually said they liked you? Oh wait, they didn't. Banjo-Kazooie is not a hard game. In fact, it's far from it. The first few levels up until Freezeezy Peak are pretty easy, and very, very fun. Then you reach places like Gobby's Valley and Mad Monster Mansion, which were more challenging but nothing rage-worthy. And then bam, the difficulty ramp goes up 3 meters without even a warning, as soon as you reach Rusty Bucket Bay. Try and guess what's the problem with this place. Maybe it's the enemies that come from the wall? Of course it ain't, you know it's the water again, right? The water controls in Banjo-Kazooie are really frustrating, because you have a really slow turning speed as well as slow speed in general. Not to mention you have a damn breath meter, which you can recover, sure, but the problem is trying to find them, oh hell no. It's trying to swim into them because the water mechanics are so crap. While it's true you don't have to do everything in this level to complete it, because of its Spyro style gameplay, if you want to get it 100%, you're gonna need to work really hard. The notes in this place for the most part are really well hidden, so you probably will be coming back more than once to retrieve all the items. And don't get me started on that Jiggy hiding in the ship rotors. I know, this has been spoken of many times before, but I really don't care. Collecting this Jiggy is like doing an obstacle course. Why? I'll tell you why. Because when you activate a switch to stop the ship rotors, you have a limited amount of time and you literally can't afford any mistakes. Just one and you'll run out of time and have to start the trial again. Oh yeah, did I mention that the rotors are insta-kill if you get stuck in them? Believe me, these aren't the last instant deaths we'll be getting on this list. We'll be having many to come. I think it's time to go Pokemon here, people. Yeah, our countdown is not complete without mentioning this marvel of a series, in both gaming and in anime. Well, for kids anyway. So we finally get to talk about Pokemon. Ooh, but which one? Blimey, it's only now I really notice how many games are in the series. Nope, we ain't going main series, we're going spin-off, with my favourite Pokemon spin-off yet. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team. I love this game. The characters, the controls, the music, the gameplay, everything. I love it. Unfortunately, it does hold a pretty bad memory of mine, which comes in the form of the Silver Trench. The fans are probably wondering why the hell I didn't put a main series Pokemon on this list, and my counter to that is that for the most part, main series Pokemon is pretty easy and only gets teeth-breakingly tough once you reach the Elite Four. The Silver Trench is much different. And why is that, you may ask? Oh, I'll tell you why. First off, trying to get those places is a challenge in itself, because you need to recruit all 3 of the legendary birds on your team.
Senbone Sakura.
Anyway, back to reality. What makes the Silver Trench really hard is just because of how long it is. You see, in the most dungeons in the Mystery Dungeon games, every dungeon's about 30 floors, and that's perfectly fine. The Silver Trench, however, is 99 floors. The only thing that can really decide if this dungeon is going to be any harder is depending on which Pokemon you turn, because a lot of the Pokemon in the Silver Trench are water types. So if you have a fire type, then you're probably going to struggle. But wait, there's more. The Mystery Dungeon game offers a new sort of gameplay mechanic, which means that if you don't eat any food, you will lose health automatically. While this does make the game a bit more realistic, when was Pokemon ever something to be taken seriously? So what happens when you reach floor 99? Does the game just surrender to your master gaming skills? Ha, you know it ain't, right? Your reward is a battle with Lugia. If you're a fighting type, you're screwed before you go in, since Lugia is both flying and psychic. He will destroy you. And even if you do beat him, he will not join your team. To get him to join your team, you have to beat him twice. By doing the dungeon again. No! The Zero Virus stage from Mega Man X5 makes you have to go through a tough stage filled with more lasers output of a Quick Man stage from Mega Man 2 to Shane, and this time you don't have a weapon that can freeze time to save you. No! The first Zero Virus stage is not on this list, because I haven't played Mega Man X5. I've gone through 5 classic Mega Mans, X2, X3, X7, X8, and the first Zero game, and I love every single one of these games. So instead, I'm putting a tie on this list. A tie between 2 levels I find equally as hard. Those are the X Hunter Stage 2 from Mega Man X2 and the Sigma Palace stage from X8. I really couldn't split these 2 levels apart. So let's start with X Hunter Stage 2. It combines some of the most hated things in video games. Water physics? Check. Infinitely respawning enemies? Check. Obstacles that can knock you off platforms? Check. Instant death spikes? Yeah, why not? They'll just make me lose a bit more sanity. Nothing will be lost. Let's add them as well. Invincible robots? No, that's a bit too generous. While this is probably the shortest level in the entire game, it's still going to keep you on it for a while because of those damn spikes. They don't do that give you that second chance crap. Oh no. One mistake and you're done. Also, Sergei's, who appears at the end of the stage, is annoying. He has overpowered moves, he's hard to hit in the right place, but I used the Silk Shot for the first part, and then used the Speed Burner on that very hard to hit head. And his fire pattern is very tough to memorize. Kind of reminds me of this.
You know what they say, the more the merrier! You know what they say, the more the merrier!
No way! I can't believe this!
As for Sigma Palace, well, it takes away a lot of the X-Hunter stuff, like the water and the infinitely respawning enemies, but makes the remaining stuff a lot more cruel, like the insta-death spikes. Not only that, but some of the enemies you fight, like the Sigma clones, take way too many shots to finally accept they can't kill you, and the insta-death spikes. The fight with Vile takes way longer than it should to beat, and is really boring, and the insta-death spikes. Oh come on game, is that necessary? Sure, the final battle with Luminae is pretty fun, but it definitely doesn't make up for this horrid level. Even with 2 characters and the prickle barrier, I can guarantee you'll die at the very least more than once. To be fair, you could make the argument it's supposed to be this hard because it's the last level of not only the game, but the entire X series. But really Capcom, why'd you do it? I don't think there's anything else to talk about, is there? Oh, did I mention the insta-death spike?
Shut up!
Okay. Yeesh. I think I should just go to number 4 before Knuckles shuts me up for me. Okay, we're at the final boss rush on this list. So this time, we're talking about the boss rush from Kid Icarus Uprising. All the stuff I talked about when I mentioned the True Arena from Superstar Ultra? Well, think of that. Only worse. While it does sort of couple of flaws that the True Arena did have, such as giving you max health packs or drinks of the gods, in this game, as well as letting you use very powerful weapons that you can buy or use polymerization to make 2 weapons to make Super Ultra Mega Fusion weapon. And you can use special support weapons you've obtained throughout the game that can help you restore your health and even damage the bosses, but the cost of that you need to fight a lot more bosses. Not 10, not even 15, you fight 26. 26 effing bosses. And while it is true that the majority of the bosses are pushovers, there are always some tough ones. And I'm looking at you, Heart. Like the True Arena, if you die, it doesn't even give you the freaking chance to retry, so you have to start again at the Twin Belows fight. Anyway, since I've already discussed everything I hate about boss rushes in the True Arena segment, so I can't really explain much more other than this. I got Kid Icarus Uprising about a month after it was released, and I've completed this level twice, and they were on easy. Just before we go to number 3 however, I just have to give a message to Nintendo. If we have to wait another 25 years for a sequel, I'm gonna lose it. Hint. But by the time you reach floor 50, you get a little bit nervous because you notice there aren't any save blocks. Till you reach floor 99, considering that you've been doing this for the last like 3 hours or so, you have that feeling. You have your feet, then that there's going to be a save block waiting for you when you reach floor 99. Nothing. Beat the last few enemies, and you energize yourself with what items remain to power you and your partners up to max. You enter the 100th floor, and you see this. Let's just say this. You're playing Paper Mario The 1000-Year Door. You love it. So you go to the Pit of 100 Trials. You're coming truly prepared, ready to rack some stuff up, with loads of great abilities, badges and items as well. You start off killing lots of weak enemies, destroying all in your path, losing a little bit of health but nothing too serious. Jesus, that thing is huge! So you begin your fight with the third dragon boss in the game, this time called Bonetail, and he annihilates you in a couple of moves. You see the game over sign. You realise that the next 3 hours have been wasted, and you have to do every single floor all over again. That is my story of the Pit of 100 Trials from Paper Mario The 1000-Year Door. I could go into really big detail about how tough this place is, but I really can't be bothered. So instead, I'm just going to talk about the thing which waits for you at the bottom. He has 200 HP. That's higher than even the Shadow Queen. And all his attacks do a mental amount of damage. He can burn you, poison you, he can freeze you, and he can even regenerate his own HP. Oh, and he can reduce his stats as well. You can say that this place is a add-on for the game, but isn't the Aztec Complex as well? And some people consider that the hardest game level ever, so why can't I do it with this? I just have to wonder, what is your reward for beating this guy? A badge. Are you? For number 2, we're going to have to look at my favourite game from my favourite franchise. The game that, even though it was so fun, it took me almost 8 years to complete. That game is Rayman. Oh, I get good memories just by thinking of this game, people. I mean, just entering the Pink Planet Woods for the first time, beating up enemies, rescuing Electoon from Mr. Dark's evil grasp, attaining new powers, beating up a boss or two along the way, and then entering this new place called Wait, what? Oh yeah, because the world before Eater Joe's wasn't bad enough. Ubisoft decided to make Eater Joe's 5 times even harder. Like all the other levels in the game, and in general the entire series, this level is broken up into little parts. I'll just go through every little part. Part 1. Looks tough, but once you get the general idea about how the Firefly works, this level is pretty straightforward. Part 2. A little bit harder, but still nothing rage-worthy. You just need to avoid, would you believe it, the spikes. But once you get past that, this level's pretty easy, and it's got some beautiful music to go with it. Part 3 gets a little tricky, especially if you don't know how to control those flying saucer things. And not to mention those damn beetles who fire needles out of their asses. Okay, in case you haven't figured it out yet, this is definitely one of the PS1 Stranger games. And those blue spiked balls and sapphires really want you dead. Wow, I thought Sega wanted to kill you. Part 4 takes a lot of the stuff that were on the last 3 parts and makes them harder, basing more of it on them sources and lots of death traps, but no beetles. Yay! But part 5. I hate part 5. Once you get back to what I'm guessing is a fish and chip store, you find out that Joe has built a path to help you get across the water and reach the sign at the end, with balloons. We could have swam over there and the time it took Joe to do that. Jump onto the balloons to get across. It's actually simple. Until you reach past the angry Ruby people, get past them and you encounter the fish. These very annoying fish will jump at you with really short notice and knock you into the instant death water, and are pretty damn fast when you compare them to the big nose fish that help push the balloons along, not to mention the hunters which fire bullets with hammers sticking out. So you get attacked by hammers, but you get killed by the fish. You avoid the fish, but he reacts too fast and jumps back and knocks you back into the water. You jump and you get killed by the spikes and the fish. The fish. The fish. The fish. 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 Are we at number 1 yet? Oh, damn we are. Alright, let's just get this over with. Number 1 is nothing like the last 15 entries, but it takes new stuff that is 1,000 times crueler in a video game and is thrown into one horrible race across Nowheresville and completely destroys what sanity is left of the player which has survived the rest of the game. Here we go. Oh god. Oh god, no. Please stop. The creators from F-Zero GX are everything I hate about races thrown into one horrible time trial. First off, I know this has nothing to do with the challenge, but the creators are really not interesting whatsoever. I mean, come on Sega, they're freaking posed, and they have next to no personality or backstory at all. Second, the race is absolutely horrendous. You're racing on the toughest track in the entire game, and Sega somehow made it even worse. How can they make the hardest track ever even worse? I'll tell you, by removing the barricades. You see, in the majority of not so serious races like Mario Kart, if you fall off the edge, there's some guy who fishes you out so you can carry on racing, because he's a nice guy. F-Zero, however, chucks that out the window, and if you fall off the edge, you will die. And you have to start the race all over again. So you need to keep on the track like a normal person would on a racetrack. On top of that, just because you complete the race doesn't mean you win, because you need to beat the creators. What's the problem with that? It's a staff ghost race, so you will probably lose once or twice. So prepare for some tear bursts and definitely a rage quit. The only thing that can make it even worse is if the ghost data was solid and could knock you off the edge. I'm the Sacred Swordsman, and if you excuse me, I need to go hire some Ghostbusters.